Today we are here to discuss a very important topic on psychology. It is one of major branches of psychology, education psychology. Education psychology has become a major branch in psychology because of its usage and many researches conducted on this particular area or the subject area. This branch, I mean education psychology, involves a number of other disciplines. They are developmental psychology, behavioral psychology and cognitive psychology. Simply, education psychology has been developed over a long period of time with other branches of psychology like developmental psychology, behavioral psychology and cognitive psychology. The main task of this education psychology is studying how students learn and how teachers can help students to learn effectively. In another way, if we define or if we explain what education psychology is, it is the branch concerns psychological concepts with educational setting. How to motivate students, how to deal with students, how to help students, etc. Educational knowledge in educational psychology helps a teacher in numerous ways. I mean, in this section, I am going to discuss uses of educational psychology for a teacher. Educational psychology helps a teacher to know that how learning takes place, the way the learner learns in the inside of the classroom or outside of the classroom. Another use of psychology for a teacher, how to understand how learning process should be initiated, how to motivate students and how to allow them to learn or how to help them to learn. The teacher who studies education psychology can show the right direction or the correct path to students. It is the duty of the teacher directing his or her students. Directing means showing the correct path. How to engage in learning teaching process, how to engage in co-curricular activities, how to do assignments or exercises, how to maintain discipline, how to develop personality. These things should be shown by a teacher. That is what is called directing or showing path or orienting students. It's a kind of orientation a teacher can do. And also, by using this knowledge on education psychology, the teacher can identify or understand the nature of the learner. In our classroom, there may be gifted students, there may be average students, there may be slow learners. Speed of the learning process or the learning depends on nature of the students. If the teacher wants to conduct learning teaching process properly, he or she should understand the nature of the learner. That would help a teacher to get ready for the lesson, to decide learning methods, to decide specific objects of the lesson, to decide which type of assignment should be given. In another way, when the teacher understands nature of the learner, he or she can identify potentialities of the learner. Which type of potentialities can be developed into competencies. Next one. As I mentioned earlier, personality development or the development of the personality of the student should be a part of the learning teaching process. Actually, not should be the part of the learning teaching process, it's a part of the learning teaching process. So we expect from education to develop personality of students. So the one of aims of the education should be developing students' personality. If a teacher is unable to develop the personality of the child he or she deal, that teacher will not be a perfect one or a good teacher expected by parents or the government or the learner. Another use or one of users teacher collect from this subject or by learning education psychology is ability to understand which type of methodology can be learned in teaching learning process. Sometimes we have to practice peer learning. Sometimes we have to practice problem-based learning. Sometimes we have to use discussion method. Sometimes we have to use project method. Sometimes we have to use lecture method, like that way. So if the teacher is well aware of education psychology, it helps the teacher to decide which type of learning method should be implemented in the learning teaching process or in the particular period or the time. If we go to the next one, or another use, teacher collect by learning psychologies ability to treat students alike, having understood differences of the learner. In the classroom, we meet different learners. Their learning styles are not same. One student differs from another. Sometimes students learn when the learning experience is explained again and again. Sometimes the learner understands the lesson when a short introduction is given to him or her. Sometimes a teacher has to give more information relevant to the learning experience. So therefore, knowledge in educational psychology helps a teacher to understand differences prevail among learners. And also, teacher is a problem solver in the classroom. Why? In some occasions, teachers should be able to solve the problem or the learning problems faced by a student. Teacher has many problems, students have many problems. So both are dealing with problematic situations in the classroom. Especially teacher should concern about learning difficulties or the problems faced by students. If it is so, to give solutions to students' problem or the learning problems, teacher should aware of education psychology. And also, this knowledge can be used by a teacher to evaluate students. This evaluation can be done at the beginning of the lesson, in the middle of the lesson, and end of the lesson, or end of the month, or end of the term, or end of the year. So whatever the assessment is given by the teacher should be done according to psychological background or according to psychological teachings. What I would say here, if a teacher wants to evaluate a student, he or she should know psychological background behind the students, and evaluation procedure should be planned according to that. So like that way. Here we find that there are many uses gained by a teacher by studying psychology as a education psychology as a subject or professional subject. If we conclude what we have discussed within this short time or within this small period, first we discuss what educational psychology is, and educational psychology consists of number of other branches such as developmental psychology, and also uses gained by or the reaped by a teacher by studying educational psychology. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.